morning and welcome to Colorado. Today I'm just a little bit south of Breckenridge, Colorado, and I'm going to be attempting Quandary Peak. Quandary Peak is one of Colorado's 58 peaks that are over 14,000 feet high. This will actually be my third 14er that I've attempted to do. Oddly enough, the highest one I've done before was 14,268 feet, and this one is 14,271 feet. So I'll be going a whole 3 feet taller or higher up than I've ever gone before. I think the three biggest challenges today is going to be, first of all, at the bottom part, the trail could be pretty muddy from snow melt. And then the higher we get up, there's actually going to be snow. Hopefully it's compacted down because that's not too hard to hike on. But if it's slushy or you start falling in, you end up having to do exponentially more work to hike up that. And then the third factor that I'm looking at, and probably the most challenging, is going to be the altitude. I basically flew up here yesterday evening, and I come from Fort Worth area, which is around 700 feet elevation. And so to go from 700 feet to 14,271 feet is going to be a huge deal in terms of thin air, not a lot of air to breathe. And so that will be an interesting challenge that I'll have to tackle. Maybe one of these days I'll actually acclimate before I do a hike like this. But for now, we got what we got, and here's to Quandary Peak today. So we are just barely into this hike. We're about 0.6 miles into it. And I think my body is already a little bit in shock because I came from Texas yesterday where it was in the 90s. It was humid. I was near sea level, and starting at 11,500 is the base elevation here. We have snow early on. The altitude's already thin, and so I can only imagine what it's going to be like at the top. By the way, I did not mention this earlier, but the wind chill at the top is probably going to be about 18 degrees. So if you wondered why I seem to have a lot of clothing, that's why. It's going to be very, very chilly at the top. So we're starting to make some pretty good progress. We are almost out of the tree line, which that's going to be interesting because I feel like when altitude really starts to kick in for me when I'm not acclimated is once I get above the tree line, it starts to get pretty difficult. So that'll be around 12,500 feet or so is when the trees will be completely gone. If you can see behind me that ridge, I'm basically just going to go straight up that ridge, and Quandary is at the very top of it. So it is nice. I can kind of see the end prize a little bit already. So we just have to go straight up that ridge and then we should be up there. But I want to caution the viewers that it's still a lot of work to go because the altitude is going to get more difficult and the snow could present a challenge as well. I have officially made it above the tree line, so it is starting to get a little more windy, definitely getting a little cooler. And all we have left is, if you can see that ridge, it's a pretty straightforward, just climb up that ridge now. But this is the steepest part and the air's getting thinner, so could be a little bit of a challenge. It is absolutely gorgeous up here, and the view's only gonna get better at the top because you'll have more panoramic views, but just all around me over here, beautiful mountains. It's an absolutely awesome day out here. So I just stopped and talked with a local who's doing this hike right now, and they've actually done this hike before, and they told me, you know, it's pretty easy going up to this point, but right behind me, we're kind of plateauing, and then there's going to be a final 10%, so to speak, and that's where everyone suffers. So I'm mentally preparing myself for that. But honestly, I feel pretty good so far, especially considering I just flew in yesterday. So having not acclimated, I'm feeling very good, very strong, and I'm mentally preparing myself for that section up ahead. quick little update so far. I'm getting close. I only have about 0.7 miles to go. However, it's 1,100 feet. So this last section straight up this ridge, everyone keeps telling me it is a suffer fest. I just passed some people who are coming down and they said it was brutal. So I am preparing myself for this section right here. One good thing though is so far all of the snow we've encountered has been really compacted, so you don't sink down into it. You can basically just walk on top of it, which helps so much. I did a hike out in Washington State a few months ago called Quandary Peak, and I was sinking in to the snow and it was brutal. I mean, you're working 2 to 3 times as hard for every step when you're sinking in the snow like that. So hopefully the snow stays compacted on our way up. So if you're watching this video just because you want to see me suffer, you're really going to enjoy this next section right here. I've made it to the top of Quandary Peak, 14,271 feet, and the views are incredible. That last push really was no joke. I definitely suffered a little. I should have gotten video, but actually you can kind of see behind me there was this cloud, this front that came through, and it started snowing and winding. It started snowing and super windy there for a minute. It got really, really cold, and it was kind of brutal there for a minute, so I threw my hoodie on. But then we powered through, we made it through that little cloud, and now the sun is starting to come out again. But it is absolutely incredible up here. It's breathtaking, and not just because the oxygen is thin. So I have some very loyal subscribers, my buddy Andrew and his daughter Ella, and they have been asking me for months and months to please do another candy review. So Ella, I have picked out a candy of your choice to review here at the top of Quandary Peak. So what I got here is the Sweet Tart Ropes. It is the cherry flavor, and there you go, right there, the cherry flavor, Sweet Tart Ropes, and I'm just dropping it here. But let's see how this rope is. All right, Ella, this is terrible. I don't know why you picked this candy for me, because absolutely terrible. Okay, I'm just kidding. It actually is pretty good, and I don't know if it's because this sugar high as I'm up here is just a nice kick of energy after all of the energy I expended coming up here. So very, very solid choice. I would give it a 8 out of 10. Maybe I'll try it when I'm not so depleted of energy. Maybe it might not be as good, but I'd say up here, I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie. Honestly, the more I keep eating those ropes, they're actually getting better and better. And I don't know if it's just like the perfect blend of, we went from cloudy skies to perfect views up here, and I made it, and the kick of energy from the sugar. But I'm gonna actually bump it up to a 9.5 now. So anyone who wants to give me other recommendations of candy to review at the summit of a mountain, you have tough competition to beat right now. So I am now headed back down and gonna try and fly down as fast as possible, and hopefully spend a little bit of time with my uncle and aunt before I fly home this evening. I don't know why I always do this. I always have to run down a mountain to catch a flight, but it is what it is. I'm utilizing my weekends to the fullest in order to bag these summits. just made it back to my car, and all in all, that was a really fun day here at Quandary Peak. So it was a total of 7.1 miles with about 3,500 feet of vertical gain, and then we topped out at 14,271 feet, which makes this the highest 14er I have done to date. I think overall, some of the things I was concerned about really were not that problematic today. It really was not that muddy. There was a couple spots, but not really that many. And then the snow really wasn't that bad, other than when I was starting to come down, it was starting to melt a little more. And so you were sinking in a lot more. So I'm glad I did this hike early and finished early. That way I did not have to deal with that going up, because that would have made it a lot more challenging. Overall, the altitude really wasn't that bad. There's a couple moments around 13,500 feet where I could literally hear the throbbing of my heart. And so it got a little intense there for a moment, but I just took a break, and then it really wasn't that bad. If you have any desire to do a 14er, I would really recommend doing Quandary, especially more in the summertime. So this is the middle of May, so that's why there's a little bit of snow and then potential mud from the snow melt. But if you do this later in the summertime, it will be completely clear, and it's really a good entry-level 14er. Now, that does not mean it's easy by any means, because I don't think there's any such thing as an easy 14er. But relative to other 14ers, it is a pretty easy 14er. With that said, I am exhausted, so I don't know how easy it really is. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, if you could hit the like button, that would really mean a lot to me. If you would comment down below, subscribe, that's really helpful for me as well. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.